Hi guys, I'm Kunal Gir, your lifestyle coach.
Ladies and gentlemen,
How to get rid of belly fat? This is a classic question that I think will never leave me alone. I've been asked this question ever since I started training people 17, 18 years ago, and I still get asked the same question. How to get rid of belly fat? So let me explain to you how fat is stored in the body and what is its purpose. When we consume extra amounts of energy, your body does not want to waste that energy. So all the extra energy gets stored in the form of body fat. Now, body fat, where it's located, has nothing to do with that area. That is just a storage space. Your body doesn't put belly fat on your stomach or on your back or on your chest because that particular part needs that energy. It is just a universal energy source for your entire body. So you may have, say, 10 kgs of body fat stored on your belly, but that doesn't mean that 10 kgs of fat, that energy is only required by your belly. So no matter how many belly exercises you do, like so you do a lot of ab crunches, side bends, crunches, leg raises, twists, whatever that might be, that is working your belly, the area around your belly, or muscles around your belly, are basically working out your muscles. They're not working on your fat at all. Like I said, the fat belongs to your entire body. It just happens to be located at that place, but does not mean that it's going to be used locally. So what I mean by that is the ab crunches that you do are not really, working the fat on top. They're working the muscle beneath that belly. So whatever belly fat you have, there is a layer of muscle inside it, and that's the muscle that is getting worked during your ab crunches or your leg raises or any kind of ab exercise. So your body is not utilizing the fat that is covering that area, but your body is utilizing the muscle that's underneath. So you're having muscular contraction underneath, and those muscular contractions do not burn fat. They burn carbohydrates, and those carbohydrates are already stored within that muscle. So whenever you contract any muscle, the carbohydrate within that muscle is getting utilized. So the fat on top of that muscle has nothing to do with it. So your belly fat is on your belly. It is just excess amounts of energy. So now you know that doing an exercise that is around that area will not affect that fat because it's only going to affect the muscle. Now that you know that, you also will have to then focus on how to get rid of excess energy. So firstly, you'll have to create a diet which is an energy deficit. You'll have to decrease the amount of energy that you're consuming, either your carbohydrates or your sugars or your fats. You'll have to lower those and then spend more energy. Start utilizing your body more and more, so that way you're burning more energy and you're consuming less. So you're creating that deficit, which makes your body want to burn the stored body fat. So the stored body fat is excess energy, right? Like I said, so whenever there's a deficit, whenever your body feels that there is less energy in the system, that is when it'll go and it'll burn that body fat. Now, where is it going to burn it from? That is genetically predetermined. So we cannot meddle with that. We can't modify it. We can't change it. To give you an example, like say when you run, right, out for a jog or anywhere for that matter, when you run, you will not be able to control where you sweat from. It's just a genetic pattern. Some people sweat from their back, from their chest. It just changes from person to person because it's a genetic pattern. It's predetermined. We can't alter that. Similarly, we can't alter where we burn fat from. So we know that we have 10 kgs of extra fat, and once we're in the fat burning mode, your body will automatically tap into all the fat reserves, and ultimately, eventually, all the body fat will start getting burnt. But to select one area and say, hey, I have fat on my belly, so I'm going to do these crunches and the fat on my belly will get burnt, that's illogical. So that would be like saying, hey, I have fat on my arms, so when I do bicep curls, the fat on my arms should go away. No, what happens here is when you're doing bicep curls, your muscle is building. Your bicep is growing, right? Because the muscle is being used. The fat is not getting used. The fat is only going to get used when your body has an overall energy deficit. So are you creating that overall energy deficit? If you are, when you are, that is when your body will tap into the fat reserves. And even that will be done in its own genetic pattern. So you will have to keep at it for long enough so that you see the fat burning from everywhere. You will also see a lot of these gizmos and supplements and creams that people are trying to sell. You see these vibration belts. You see spot reduction creams, and they say that you put this on your belly and your fat will burn. All that is just gimmicks. There's no science behind all that. Don't buy into all that hype. You cannot burn body fat that way. If it was that easy, there would be no gyms, there would be no trainers. Nobody in the world would need to work out. They'd just rub creams and get ripped. So that will not work. Don't fall for all that. That's just marketing gimmicks. So exercise, cardio, a good diet in terms of lower carbohydrate, lower sugar intake, that is what you need to really burn your belly fat. So the reason why I say men have a lot of belly fat is because we predominantly are testosterone based organisms. So that's why we store a lot of belly fat around the stomach area. So the belly fat basically is programmed by our hormones. Similarly, for women, if you see, a lot of women tend to store fat on their hips, thighs, and their arms, because that is what happens when you are an estrogen based organism. So these are hormonally driven, so they are not mechanically driven. So what I mean by that is no amount of tricep extension will make a woman's arm ripped, because that fat is not going to work. Your muscles are going to work. So no amount of squatting will make women, burn thigh fat. It won't work, because it's the same logic again. The muscle inside is working, the fat outside is not. So the fat outside will only come into play when you're creating an energy deficit. So an energy deficit, like I explained, can only be created when you consume less or spend more or do both together, which will give you the fastest results. So I hope I'm trying to clarify these misconceptions that have been going on for ages now. So there is no exercise for belly fat reduction. You have to do a good diet, cardio, and workouts, and that is going to help you burn overall energy, which will then lead to a leaner midsection. I hope this helps. Until next time, thanks for watching.